Hey guys, Deathproof here. We made an update to this build and oh my god, this is absolutely an awesome update. You guys are going to love this build. I spent such a long time working on it. It was really agonizing because there's so many inputs and I was trying to keep the crushing ice shatter going with the flicker and all these different things, and my god, look at that. Look at that. We are absolutely melting these monsters. The other thing is I needed to really upgrade the defense. I was starting to get a little squishy with the monsters, which was really frustrating. I was able to clear, but just monsters were too tanky for me, and I was getting crushed. By the time I got to the apex of filth, I was really frustrated. So I came up and I started to change a lot of things in my build, and I made this build so much more OP. It is an awesome build. You're gonna love it. Look at that. Look at this. Even the flicker strike is starting to come together. And by the way, there's a few things we'll talk about in a second here. We haven't talked about the skill set or the tree, but I want you guys to take a look at how easy we are crushing the competition. I really needed an armor. That was the big thing. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to show you guys what we changed and just how good this defense is on this build. Okay, so if you take a look, we still have the low energy shield. We still have the decent life. Mana 600. We're good with mana, man. I'll show you in a little bit why. Spirit 200. This was the game changer, and we're going to get into that and I'll show you what we did. The evasion rating still over 80%, and we upped our armor by a little bit, but that's not too crazy anyways. Now, what we did different, this is what we did different. If you take a look at the passive tree, I'll show you guys in a little bit the details of what we changed up. But essentially, as I said, I was starting to get squishy with the bosses, so I had to find a way to get my defense up, and I wanted to use my metas and my buffs. Now, first of all, shout out to Kevin, because he told me that I was using the gloves that were making my attack weaker. However, the reason being is I was messing around with the elemental conflux and also the elemental invocation. I think these two nodes and these two buffs are so underrated, and I know there's a way to unlock them. There's not a lot of videos out there of people really doing a build surrounding them. So the elemental conflux, I'm working on that in the background. It's gonna be a game changer. And so is the elemental invocation. The problem with the conflux is it takes 100 spirit. Now, let's get back to the passives. I changed it up a bit because I wanted to go from the Invoker. I just wasn't really using the Invoker as much. I think for me, it was underutilized, so I went ahead and I took advantage of the fact that I wasn't using it and changed it up and got to the and protect me from harm as well as to lead me through grace. So now what this does, this takes your spirit, you can't use it on your your equipment. So even though I had gotten that body armor that gave me 50 spirit and I got the amulet with 30 gave me 85 spirit, I didn't use it anymore. I changed everything into evasion, and that's why we'll go into this in a little bit, but that's why we changed our body armor into regular body armor with a very high rating of evasion. Now if you take a look, the evasion rating says plus 222. The plus is so much more OP than the increase because it's a multiplier as opposed to an increase or an addition. Now that being said, I'll give you a piece of advice. Don't do what I did earlier. Do not use your exalted orbs. I was always using it, trying to upgrade and add things, and look, when you get to the end game build, you're gonna realize you can use exalts to trade on the market. I would go in the market, buy yourself 2 or 3 exalts. You can get this right here, 1500 evasion rating. I added the quality to it. It was about 1100. I added quality, now it's at 1500. This makes a difference. This is how we're able to get, guess what? We're able to get 200 spirits. So if I take off all of these, we have 202 spirits. And look, even with them on, I can still afford to add another buff. What I'm gonna try to do, get deeper into the game, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get to an extra 100, so I need about an extra 60 buff so I can add on the elemental conflux, and then Kevin, we're going to bring back those gloves, and then we're going to have a litany of everything. I'm going to put the Herald of Ash, and then the elemental conflux with the gloves is going to make the big difference. In terms of the equipment, this is super critical. I kept the same helmet. I kept the same staff. I changed my gloves, and I added more evasion and physical damage to them. The boots are pretty much, I think, the same. You know, evasion rating 24%, movement speed, so the same thing. I changed up my ring. I added the evasion rating to the ring. That's important. And then the amulet, because I didn't need the spirit anymore, it freed me up. Now I can add other things, and I use this to increase, you know, just all kinds of different things. Now, the belt, I haven't really, you know, the belt's whatever. I never pay attention to it. But let's get into the skills. Now, the skill set, really quickly, I'll do a rundown in terms of what we actually need. I'll do a rundown on what we have. So, Flicker Strike, we didn't change much in the Flicker Strike. We have the practice combo, momentum, super critical, and inevitable critical. That's the same. Ice Strike, I brought in the rage. That made a big difference. I'm never going to get rid of it. Keep it. It's worth it, I promise. The martial tempo, same thing. Heft, same thing. Ice Bite, I put that towards the end. This is a great combo for Ice Strike. Even though we're at 4,500 damage, once the rage goes and the heralds and then everything else, this is going to go up to 10k. For level 67 to get 10k damage is pretty badass. Wave of Frost, Cold Penetration, Primal Armament, Glaciation. The Wave of Frost, I might get rid of it, but guys, the Wave of Frost, this is why I keep it. I keep it because it's a primer. Before I begin, as I'm moving through, when you're using up your charges, you just need one hit of Wave of Frost, and then you can get your charge staff going. So I would keep the Wave of Frost for that. Maybe later I'll get rid of it, especially if I need to get the Herald of Ash instead of that. The Tempest Bell Magnified Effect, Heavy Swing, Font of Rage, that's going to compound the rage, and then Close Combat. This is a beater for the bosses. It's really awesome. I don't even use it as often, but if I feel like I'm getting a little squishy, boom. And we're not going to get squishy, but just in case. Charge Staff, got Persistence, Ruthless, Long Shot, and Perpetual Charge. We went through these in the last video. Arctic Armor, this is the game-changing mechanism which made us so much tankier and no longer squishy, along with the Grim Feast. I can actually get rid of Grim Feast, but it does give me an extra layer of protection in a combination with the Arctic Armor. Dude, you can't go wrong. Arctic Armor, add the Cold Exposure so you can inflict Cold Exposure for 8 seconds and crit hits on cold damage. Frost Nexus makes the ground freeze for them, slows them down. Blind if they hit you with melees, it makes you more evasive. And then there's Herald of Thunder, we have Overcharge, Cold Infusion, and Ambush for the crits. And then Herald of Ice, we got Enervate, Conduction, Lightning, Infusion. Grim Feast, Precision, Clarity. Clarity, you guys, it takes 10 Spirit. I have so much Spirit, I don't care at this point. But the Clarity, it gives us 30% increased mana. I never even worry about mana, and honestly, I didn't do that much. We only have like 500 mana, and I don't care. We don't need mana, we're good for now. The Combat Frenzy, we've got Profusion, and that's all we need. I would say in the Grim Feast, use Precision because that's going to enable you to get more of those spirits and keep you going. The tree, let's get into the tree. So I changed things up in the tree. Most notably, you're going to notice is one, we added the Heartstopper. This is really good for the damage, makes us tankier. And then we added this right here, guys, the Harness the Elements. Boom, 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 boom. Now, you take a look. We did increase on our staff right here to overpower the staff. And then if you go up top, we're working our way towards this right here, you guys. We want to get to overflowing power. This is going to give us extra power charges. That's going to make a big difference. With that being said, this build is so much fun, man. It puts everything together. You're finally, because the monk, there's a period where it's getting kind of annoying, but this, now everything is clicking together. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that made comments. I understand that the blended footage, people didn't like it. I got rid of it in my second video, so thank you for that. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the feedback. It's a new channel. I'm new at this. I'm just trying to get better and make better content. So you guys' criticism, constructive criticism is very much appreciated. Shout out to Veritiseru and Chris Rupik. Sorry, man. You can see the footage now is no longer blended. Hope you enjoy. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you so much. Love you. Good luck. Have fun. Peace.